I don't know how you feel, but for me, I think it was one of the most uplifting discussions I ever had about this theme. I'm really, you know, yeah, we'll see, yeah, and we'll see how it feels just after this process. Well, okay. So we just will do again a few rounds. So let's start with group 6. Ben, what do you like to add? The mic is with Jenny. Very smart, Jenny, very smart.
We discussed a lot of elements today, but the main thing we think that you have to start with an open mind. And then several elements are, I only will mention keywords for Bouke. Listening is very important. Patience, respect, and a non-judgmental conversations. So a conversation in which you don't judge.
Non-judgmental. Zonder E. Ja. En, ja, helemaal goed. Ja. Conversation? Non-judgmental conversation.
Ja, patience, respect.
Oké.
And listening. Ja, oké.
Okay. Ralph.
Yeah, we divided it a little bit in what oneself can do, also a depressed person for itself, what oneself can do to helping a depressed person, and what the TS, also what the Theosophical movement can do. At the beginning, I think I start with what oneself can do. Yeah, he can go back to nice experiences in the past, yeah, or to be focused to one he loves. It can be a dog or even a flower. Yeah.
I also like that idea. Maybe we can use that as clusters. I don't know what oneself can do, what one can do to help another, and what the Theosophical movement can do.
Yeah.
Okay, we can use that too. Already? Yeah. But your point was focus on?
Focus on one you love. Yeah.
And on zonder E. Focus on one she loves. Okay, and that is what oneself can do.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's put that as a cluster then. What oneself can do. What you can do to help others. And how did you formulate the last?
What the Theosophical movement can do.
What the Theosophical movement can do to prevent. Okay. Theosophical, the S. Okay. Lalibel.
So our first one is we are a divine monad, and we know that divine monad is not really something that that is very common language or whatsoever, but we thought it is so inspiring, and so we just put it out there. So we are a divine monad, the thinker, not the thought. The change of thought is a change of destiny. Let us keep wondering and have a lifelong learning.
Okay, so
So
just
we are
slowly.
the divine monad
D-I. Ja, precies. Met een I.
with an I.
Met een
I.
Ja. The thinker, not the thoughts.
The thinker, not the thought.
Yeah.
The change of thought is a change of destiny.
The change of thought is the change of destiny.
Let us keep wondering and have a lifelong learning.
So let's put punt. Keep wondering.
Let us keep wondering and have a lifelong learning.
Yeah. And Does this apply to what oneself can do, or what you can do to help others?
I think in a sense it's both, because
It's both.
yeah, because when the person realizes this himself, it's so much of a help. And if the helper has this in mind, he can connect with the depressed person in a way that is very important too. So.
Okay. We can also copy it and put it into both the clusters. Toch? Achter wat oneself can do, what one can do, what you can do to help others. En dan kopiëren, what you say. Yeah. Okay, Maurice.
Yes, we focused a lot on what we can do to help others that are depressed. And in different stages or phases, we started with actually creating a Buddhic field. And in that Buddhic field, one can show unconditional positive regard, which reflects the fact that we really are in a state of oneness with the other person, or certainly share most elements, including possibly some of the elements of depression. And in doing so, we can express this attitude with a genuine interest in our best friend. So the person who's depressed, we have a genuine interest in them as our best friend, or in our best friend.
A genuine interest in our best friend.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Angels. Yeah.
We came to hold on. Several divisions. The first one was to recognize the symptoms. The second one was we were talking about how to repair depression, and the third one would be for prevention.
Recognizing symptoms. So actually those are steps, recognizing symptoms, how to repair, you say?
Yes.
How to repair
So
depression.
how do we repair depression?
So that connects to what you can do to help others, right?
Sure.
And okay. And the last one was?
The last one was prevention.
Prevention, okay. So that's also in there what we can do to prevent, maybe?
Maybe.
Okay.
So, for the first part, there was one first question, which is, what is it that gets depressed?
Okay. And that's part of
the recognition of the
recognizing the symptoms. What is it that gets depressed?
Depressed.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And then
you.
there would be a second part of this, another question just linked to this one, which is, what is depression for the patient or the person? And so ask him, what is depression to you?
What? Okay. And what does it mean?
Yeah.
What does it mean for the person that is depressed?
Yeah.
Okay. And that is a question you ask. So that belongs to what you can do to help others. You might say, is ask, what does it mean? What does this depression mean to you? Could you say that?
For example.
Okay. This honor what you can do to help others. What does depression mean?
Is that right?
To you? Ask. What does depression mean to you? Okay.
Okay. We at this most important point, we find to focus on unity, to lift the personal to the universal, by developing a more holistic perception.
Okay. Do you agree that it belongs to what oneself can do?
Yes, and also what we can do for the other. Yes, but for sure.
Or okay.
Yeah. Focus on unity, to lift the personal to the universal. By developing a more holistic perception.
Dan kunnen we kopiëren en dan zetten we die ook bij what you can do to help others. Ja. Oké. Ben.
Okay. The second point is make a connection from your higher self with the higher self of the depressed person.
Oh.
And then the person will experience unity, interconnectedness, compassion, patience, friendship, cooperation, and a spiritual vision. Of course, it is a process, but it is elements of the higher self.
So we have make a connection, and then you said this results in patience.
Yeah, and that elements on the person will experience then, or
Yeah.
also yourself experience unity, because a depressed person is feeling very often lonely. So then you experience the unity and the interconnectedness. Also the compassion, that you not are alone. Patience, friendship, cooperation, and a spiritual vision.
Okay.
So that will uplift, elevate a person in the end.
Okay, just a quick check. I see a lot of things that are more or less other words for the same.
Yeah.
Right? So we are the divine monad. We create a Buddhic field with in a state of oneness. We make connection with our higher self. We focus on unity. So actually, those are quite.
It are aspects, but there are a few points, but maybe will prevent a lot of discussions about words. You can better mention them all, and they, in the essence, they are all the same.
So can we just maybe, because I think that ask what does depression mean to you is really separate from that. That's really another point. So if you agree, maybe we can make a subcluster. What can you do to help others? Starting with focus on your higher self. Maybe we can find something better. So focus on your higher self. And then we can put die 5 er allemaal achter. Ja? Dan hebben we wat meer, dan wordt het wat helderder. So maybe if we go rounds, focus on, okay, what are points that are not already mentioned, right? Because then we have a richer harvest. So, yeah. Okay, Ralph.
Yeah, okay. What you can do to the depressed person to help him. We have also listening again and try to discover his higher ideals. Yeah, and then to stimulating his free will in order to realize it.
Try to discover his higher ideals.
Yeah.
Yes. And stimulating him to realize it.
Yeah.
Or stimulating his free will.
His free will.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so our next point is kind of connected to some others that are there, but do not quite catch it, I think. Something that we should have more is rehumanization.
Sounds familiar, yeah?
Yeah, but the points that will follow, at least one of them is very distinctive, I think. That we should be there for people, and from there flows community building, And the last one is holistic treatment, because at the moment, treatment for depression
is that one
very-
point, or is
it's all part of the rehumanization. So just rehumanization, put that first, and then semicolon.
And this is part of what you can do to help others, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, rehumanization, be there for the other.
Yeah, be there for
Comma.
people,
Yeah.
community building,
Community building.
and holistic treatment, because the treatment at the moment is very medical, like medicine, and not seeing the higher of the other.
And is this something that the depressed one has to do, or that we have to do? Be there for the other, you mean by...
I think more the others, but
So-
it's all of society, really.
Okay, because
Yeah.
that's something that came up in our groups, that one of our group members was really experienced with treating depressed people, and he said one of the best, how do you say, cures is to make people help others. And then so is that what you mean also?
Not necessarily, but
okay.
we didn't really think of it that way. But it's more of a general. It's more of a general thing, I think. With society is just very individualistic, and we really should rehumanize. It's also separate, and
So it
with
should
the
be
chemical reactions
it's
in
much
brains.
broader,
and-
you say.
Yeah,
so
it-
should much
yeah.
broader that we build a culture again of being there for others.
Yeah,
Community
more like that.
building, holistic.
Yes.
Seeing that also not apart from the individual, but as a
whole.
whole.
Yeah, because
okay.
we've seen over time a big dehumanization, very individualistic. Everything is, there's a lot more distance through the internet, and that.
Okay, thanks.
It's actually what you have in the study groups, I think. Yeah, it's very humane.
So we should widen the study groups there. Okay.
Yeah, well, I was actually discussing with Jonathan that what we share in the study group is actually what, if we would have that more, depression would really be, disappearing.
Gone,
Yeah, I think so. It's what is missing.
Our group had a long list of signposts for society, but if we're going to get another round or two at that, I'd like to stick with the individual. And so one of the things treating the individual then, or helping the individual, is to allow kind of a realization of the fact that we really do have infinite resources.
Yeah.
Especially inner resources. And that the way to draw that out practically, one method, for example, would be to ask, are you your thoughts? Or do you have thoughts?
Okay. So
And
our realization that we have infinite resources and a way to yes, then, yeah, precies, and a way to draw that out is the question: are you your thoughts, or do you have thoughts? Right?
yes. And the result, hopefully, because someone depressed usually just sees something darkly from one angle, and that's it, frozen almost, right? And the idea is, by asking questions like this, to allow people to see things from different perspectives, and especially to develop a multi-sided empathy for others.
Well, I know that these are actually 4 points, Maurice, but we'll just stick to this. Well. Okay.
I'm just a good representative.
Anjos, could you please? Yeah.
Perhaps there will be 2 or 3 points, skipping here too. So we stick to the symptoms for the time being. So we can detect that someone is depressed because the reality is not there. For them, the reality is not the event. His reality is his own interpretation of the event.
Okay. So
And
the
that-
reality is not the event, but his reality is the interpretation of the event.
For the depressed person, his reality is his own interpretation of the event.
Okay.
And
Just a
then-
second that we can type it in,
Following to this,
not the event, but the interpretation of the event.
because what happens is that there is a double isolation from his spiritual sources, which means that the samskaras, the skandhas, the karmic energy are there surrounding him or her and impeding him or her to see the reality, right?
And where is the double in that?
Pardon?
What is the double? The skandhas are
The-
one and the samsara?
The samskaras, the skandhas, and the karmic energy and the thanic forces are building a circle isolation,
Yes.
a double isolation.
What is the double? What do you mean by double?
Because there's the double circle, okay, with the samskaras, one, the skandhas, another
Yes,
one.
right. That's one.
the-
Okay, that's
you
what
know,
you mean. The
with those.
samsara,
Yeah,
the
all these.
So we have our how do you say, from a previous life we have
Sure.
things to overcome, and then we also have these events, the karmic events, coming from events from the previous life that we also have to deal with. Okay, which are actually the possibilities to overcome the right. So in a sense.
But because the
Okay.
light of the ego
Mhm,
cannot be prevailing, there is more shadow than light, right?
Yeah.
So, and then there is connected to that.
Yes, but how can we put it? How can we? Because this is just one point. It's not the event, but the interpretation of the event. And the other point is this double isolation due to skandhas and samsara. Could
But
you say that?
that's what makes the reality
Yes.
interpreted.
Okay, that's a cause of that.
Yes.
So maybe we can put that behind the double isolation. Nou, maar dit verklaart het wel meer. Due to skandhas en samsara. Oh, dat ging heel goed. Samsara. A-N-D. Ja, prima. Okay. Yeah. And there's something else connected to that?
Connected to that, and
Yes.
perhaps to the first one.
Yeah.
Because when we are asking first, what is it that gets depressed? And because this state of depression can develop an inclination to destroy himself or other things, we can ask, what is it that he wants to destroy?
Okay.
So that would be with the first one, right?
Yeah.
Next to it.
What is it that he wants to destroy? Okay. Jenny?
Okay, a second point we had to, it is about helping the other, the depressed person. That is, help the person to climb back out of the clouded perception by providing support, understanding and love, and establish and maintain a meaningful relationship on all levels.
Okay. So you have to repeat a bit. Help the person to climb back out of the
clouded
Clouded.
perception, by providing support,
By
Providing.
support.
understanding, love, and establish and maintain a meaningful relationship on all levels.
Ja, klopt wel. A meaningful
Relationship on all levels.
on all levels. Okay. To our last round. Ben, what must be in there?
We just mentioned that it is necessary to make the connection from one higher self to the higher self of the depressed person. And then we said, what is the result? That you need to develop the self-discipline to activate that or stimulate it or how you want to call that. And that it has, to our opinion, three elements of aspects. That is
Okay, no, but just a second. So does this belong to what oneself can do? Self-discipline?
Yeah, this is the result of the process of talking with others, or so it is something what will happening in the depressed person, so to say.
What we can do. Yeah, okay. Self-discipline and then
Self-discipline.
3 points.
3 points. To learn to use his or her free will, that you have a free will and that you can use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another aspect is that the person is moving from a passive, apathic to an active state.
Yeah. Moving from a
passive, apathic to an active state of consciousness.
Yeah. To active state. No, from a passive to active state of consciousness. En die komt dan
Yeah.
onder.
And a passive that can also be apathic, but it's a level.
Okay.
And one of the other aspects what has to do with developing self-discipline is that a person realizes that one has a depression and one is not a depression. So learn to see the human behind the depression.
Okay. Has a depression but is not the depression.
Yeah, learn
And
to
then
see
the human.
that you are a human being behind the depression.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. En dan moeten we daar natuurlijk use free will even bovenaan zetten. Dat is het eerste punt. Ja, top. Rolf.
Yeah, I have here a point we can do as individuals and as the Theosophical movement.
Okay.
To prevent. It is to be the antidote for mental epidemics through sowing positive thought seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To mental epidemics by sowing.
Thought seeds.
Sowing, S-O.
Sowing. Yeah.
What do you say? What thought seeds?
Thought seeds. Yeah.
But which one? Thought seeds.
Positive.
Okay, positive thought seeds.
So positive thought seeds. Yeah.
Thought seeds. Okay. Okay. Great.
Our last one is, and this one, it is applied to what others can do, but I think if you would rephrase it, it is something you yourself could do as well. If we could help a person objectify what he thought was subjective, it would help to release their free will. So if we could help a person,
To objectify what? To, yeah,
if we could help,
nee, maar niet goed. Help to objectify what the person thinks.
if we could help a person to objectify what he thought was subjective,
What the person thought was subjective. Dat is ook prima. What the person thought. En die had je al. Thought.
thought was, if we could help a person to objectify what he thought was subjective,
What he.
thought
thought.
was subjective,
Mhm.
comma,
Then,
it would help to release their free will.
okay. Okay. Great. There are three. Okay.
So these are our last
Yeah.
last round. Okay, 2
So
points.
you have to put all the 20 in
Right,
one,
into two.
on 1 point.
Can I make 2 points? The first, because one is on the individual side, which is discovering your dharma for the sake of serving others.
Okay. Discovering your dharma for the sake of, yeah, what you can do to help others. Nee. And that's actually what we do to help, right?
Right.
So we help others to discover their dharma for the sake of helping others.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And on the
So I don't know if it's now clear that it's what you have to help others to do. Begrijp je? Even kijken hoor. Dus, well, forget about it.
And on the social side, one which is to reduce stress by promoting fairness and social justice.
Social side, but where do we put, you mean as a theosophical society?
It
Or
could be,
theosophical movement?
or could be individual or social action, but it has to be, there's something more than just treating the individual for depression, because so what
Maybe
you
we
do
just
in
put
social
on the
life-
social side.
So on the social side, it's basically reducing stress by promoting fairness and social justice in a variety of ways.
Stress by promoting fairness and social justice. Okay, thanks.
Then we come to do things to help others, right? And I think it could be on the top division with the higher self or something
Okay.
like that. Because it says, by reconstructing the mindset, help restore harmony in the inner structure of the person. If the light of the learning ego is strong, harmony can be restored.
Okay. By restructuring the mindset, help.
By reconstructing the mindset, help restore harmony in the inner structure.
Harmony in the inner structure. Comma.
Yes, or semicolon. If the light of the learning ego is strong, comma, harmony can be restored.
If the light of the learning.
Harmony can be restored. If the light of the learning ego is strong,
harmony can be restored.
harmony can be restored.
Okay. Great.
Kan dat woord other weg?
Ja, die moet weg. Ja. Oké, Jenny.
Yeah. As last point, we had to encourage the depressed person in participating in meaningful activities. You said it already, but it was not written down. Yeah.
To participate in meaningful activities. We didn't write it down.
You told yourself
Oh,
that you
okay.
were discussing
Yeah.
it in
Okay,
your group.
Yeah. Okay, great. What else? So let's open it up to the audience to contribute things that are not yet in here you think is really important that has to be there. Joke.
Can I give a point of always discussion? Medication. And medication is intervention to buying time to help the patient regaining willpower for choosing right settings in life. It's a long sentence. Medication is intervention to buying time. That is perhaps enough. Medication is not a solution, but intervention to buying time to give the treatment.
To buy time.
To buy time
met
to
een U nog voor de praktijk.
regaining willpower, to help them regaining willpower.
Regaining willpower. Yeah, just a moment. And yeah, de U voor de Y. To buy.
Willpower
Okay.
for choosing right settings in life, but perhaps you
Well,
don't need that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, okay.
And we have one very important, that is prevention. And again, with religious intolerance, Marijn gave the idea of prevention as well. And then it is the same as with religious intolerance. Educate people as active, ethical thinkers, because that is the immune system against mental infection.
As active, ethical thinkers.
Active, ethical thinkers is
For that is, yeah.
is immune system against mental infection.
Okay. What else? Okay, yeah, Ben, yeah, you get a chance from the audience.
Jenny talked about ways to help people, and we have some practical points that maybe can be used. That is to get the people distracted in a good way for making walk in nature, maybe to do some art, painting, music is mentioned, listening to music, playing music, helping others, is also already mentioned, gardening, learn to relax. That are several practical points that can be used to get the people of the person from the focus on the lower self to broaden the vision to the higher self by learn to not focus on the lower self. So that is walk in nature, painting, gardening, helping others, learn to relax, music, and so on.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Henk?
We must start with preventing. So preventing must be the first point. All above.
So, but
is my
here it says what can we do as a Theosophical
yes.
movement to prevent? Okay,
Yes.
we just put it up there.
Yes, is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Maurice?
Somewhere in terms of helping the person, there has to be time set aside for introspection. In other words, essentially, if you're going to deal with depression, at some point, one must go within and face one's fears, look inside.
Yeah. So you might say create time and space for introspection. Create time and space for introspection.
But the depressed one? Or,
Ja, voor de depressed one. Ja, dat is toch...
what you can do.
ja, dus voor hun moeten we dat doen. Ja.
Oh, okay.
Ja. Oké?
For? Weet niet meer.
Oh,
For what?
ja.
Create time for?
Introspection.
Overcome their depression.
Mm-hmm.
I think they might consider both exercise and music,
Mm-hmm.
at least for temporary, uplifting of the spirit.
Okay, so that belongs
I guess
to...
you could add art to that sometimes too for other people.
Yeah. So it belongs to, the meaningful activities which were mentioned, and you make it more concrete in again, could you repeat? Exercise.
Exercise and music are often, helpful palliatives.
Okay.
Or playing.
Yeah. Okay. Ralf?
Yeah, it should be good when we talk about education that it always be connected with philosophy, art, religion, ethics. Yeah, to make a link to the higher self.
Connect religion, philosophy,
Yeah.
art, ethics,
Education, yeah.
science, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Religion. Well, actually, you mean in education, you have to connect that. In education, connect. Yes. But it's not connected with, but connect philosophy, art, yeah. Gewoon with, yeah. Okay? Oh, Ben?
One of the aspects of focusing on the higher self is that someone is recognizing and is given his or responsibility, with the consequence that someone sees his or her role and function in life with a capital.
Okay. Help someone recognize
His
responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how is that different from discover your dharma for the sake of helping others?
Yeah, it is in fact it implies the same, but
Okay,
it is an other accent.
Could we leave it then like that? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's correct. That's
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
in fact the same. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Maurice?
This may be covered, but
We're just doing just a couple of more rounds, of course.
A couple more rounds here. This is a theosophical bar. We need a couple more rounds here. And this may be up there, I can't see it, but I think in our group we had a sense of inclusiveness.
Yes. Yeah. And that relates to society, right? Yeah. That is an important thing to work out in society, the sense of inclusiveness. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Ellie? Ja, we begonnen ook kort.
In the cluster, what can you do to help others? There is discover your dharma for the sake of helping others. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking if we skip the sake of others, just what can you do for yourself? Discover your Dharma. So what can the depressed...
you suggest to shorten it.
Short, and then add it to the cluster of what can you do for yourself as a depressive person. You see?
Oh, just
you can
copy
help
it.
somebody.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And
So you have to do that yourself as well.
As well, yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, good point. What oneself can do. Yeah. Okay. We are almost, okay, two more comments and then I guess we have
Just
to
one thing, because we should not forget the youth, and there are depression on the youth as well, so we thought the youth need a role model.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of all the negative role models, you should encourage the youngsters to follow a good role model, and in that sense, we thought that Harry Potter is one of the greatest ones to prevent depressions.
Okay, great. Role models such as Harry Potter. Okay. Ginny?
Encourage the depressed person to forgive himself and to forgive others.
Okay. Encourage, that is to help others. Encourage, what can you do to help others?
Deze?
Ja?
Of deze encourage?
Nee. Dat is een apart punt. Encourage to forgive himself and forgive others. Okay. Okay, wow. We've done it. We're getting good at this. Yeah. So next year we can just do a few more, maybe even 10 or 20. Okay, but yeah.
One more. Yeah, I have to say this one more thing. We had a few clusters, but we had one more because in psychiatry at the moment the problem is actually that they stick at the emotional level and they don't recognize the higher part. So we had another cluster in our group, and that was what Gene has to do, and and that is make the higher triad famous in psychiatry.
Okay, great, good point. And that's a good bridge because after dinner we want to do three things. So we invited Gene to share a bit of his experience as a psychiatrist with depressed people. So he would like to know his view about that. So, and then what we also like to do is focus a bit more on, we had all these ideas now. We had a lot of harvest. I think we have a lot of material we can use into articles, transfer it to articles for our lectures, for maybe other ideas. So then we want to talk with you, okay, what can we do as a theosophical movement, and what can we do to support each other to go on with these ideas, and how to spread this in our public work, the things we do as theosophical organizations at home. So that's something we really like to talk about. And to end with, we also like your ideas on the evaluation of this whole process. What do you think about this conference? What do you think about what we have done here? And how to work in this way together. And so something to think about at dinner. And I'll see you all back 7:30.